Hi everyone, it's Leona from Leona's Designs, and I come on today to show you these pretty teapot centerpieces that I have made. I've designed them, and the teapots are created from a paper template that I designed, and they're all put together with easy to get supplies, and it's a pretty easy project if you have all the materials that are required. So I was going to do a process video to show you how I put these together. I'm making them for a local tea party at our senior center, and I need to make 7 of these for the tables. We're having 7 tables, 42 people, and it's coming right up, so I'm busy making these, and I thought I'd do a video to show you how, if you wanted to create one yourself. So I'll be right back and tell you the supplies that you need. Okay, I'm back. First of all, you will need a margarine container or some type of container similar. This margarine container that I have, that I'm using, is 4.5 to 5 inches long, 3 inches tall, and 3 inches wide. So you would need some kind of a container like that with the lid. You will need paper napkins in the color or pattern that you desire for your teapot. My teapot is designed as a fall teapot, so I bought these fall leaf paper napkins at the dollar store. You will need some acrylic paint or gesso because you have to gesso this container. It's plastic, so you want to gesso over it or paint white acrylic paint over it or some kind of paint over it to kind of blot out the print. After you do that, then you would Mod Podge a napkin on it, similar to this right here. I gessoed this first, and then I Mod Podged the napkin on. You would also need some artificial flowers to go in the top. I got these at the Dollar Tree, just one bunch. You will need a paper plate of some sort. Mine were, let's see what size they are. They're 9-inch squares, and I think they work very nice. This has a leaf pattern on it, and it was bought at Home Goods. So you need that. You would need some leaves, which I used to go around. I just glued these around the plate just for a little extra decoration. You wouldn't need to do that, but that's what I did, and I got this bag of leaves at the dollar store. You would need a 2-inch paper punch to make the little paper pumpkins, and you would need some orange cardstock. I got this orange cardstock at Joann's. You will also need some green ribbon, either some thin green ribbon or curly ribbon. You'll also need some sticks for the pumpkins. I just went out in my yard and collected a bunch of little twigs. You will need Mod Podge or glue, a scissors, and some kind of X-Acto knife or cutter. I just use this wallpaper cutter that I got at Harbor Freight. And these printouts, excuse me, this template for the teapot is available in my Etsy shop as a digital download. So you could go there and print this teapot out, just cut it out, and that would be your centerpiece for your to glue on your margarine container. I also printed out some of these little acorns as decorations to go on my centerpiece. So these will be in my Etsy shop also. I will put a few around the teapots so you would have enough to make a centerpiece. And I think that is probably it. That's all you would need to make one of these beautiful little centerpieces. So I'm going to clear this away and I will come back with a process video to show you how to put it together. So I went ahead and gessoed this with my gesso, but you could use white acrylic paint. You might have to use more than one coat. The main part of covering this up is the end pieces, because these middle pieces you don't have to worry too much because the teapot is going to cover them. And then the top we're going to be cutting out with our X-Acto knife or our little cutter to put our flowers in. And then the bottom, of course, just we don't need to worry about that because it's getting glued down to the plate. So now what you would want to do after that is take a napkin or napkins and remove the back layer or layers, whatever your napkin might be. Some napkins have 2 layers, some have 3. I just use a little bit of Scotch tape to pull that layer up, and then I tear it off. So that I have 1 layer. And with that, I'm going to Mod Podge the napkin onto this. And just, cut the napkin up in little pieces and Mod Podge it on there, which I have already done with this one. So once you get that all Mod Podged on, you might, depending on your napkin, you might need more than 1 layer, depending how much pattern is on your napkin, because you really want to cover up these ends. Then you would take your X-Acto knife or your little cutter and you would cut out a rectangle on the top. This is where the flowers will go. What I did was I just kind of measured it and cut that rectangle out. So now we are ready to glue our teapot template on, which I have cut out. These are the printables on my website, or on my Etsy shop. You get 1 teapot that faces this way and 1 that faces this way. And they go on each side of this container. And I just glue them on there. You can use hot glue or Fabri-Tac. And you just kind of stick them down in the little ledge there that the cover makes, and you glue the backs right to this middle, right to the side. So we'll do that. Excuse me. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. I do use hot glue for some things. like gluing down some of the other items. But for this, I'm just gonna stick that there and that little edge. Just glue it right down in the middle. And then do the same to the other side. Try to get them lined up as evenly as possible with each other. Just got a little bit of glue there on the top, which I didn't need to do. Wipe that off. So it won't matter. You won't see it anyway with the flowers in there. Okay, so now they're glued. Now what we need to do is get our flowers ready. And where did I put those flowers? I guess I set them over here. Oh, here they are on the floor. Okay. What we need to do is, and I forgot to tell you, for your supplies, you might need tin snips or some wire cutters, because we're going to cut these flowers off the main stem to make them fit in there and bush out. So on this main stem I have 6 different flowers. So I'm just using my tin snips that I got at Harbor Freight. And I'm just cutting each one of these down to the bottom of the stem. Oops. And then we'll arrange them in the teapot. Okay, so now, if you want to, I didn't do it, but if you wanted to put some tissue paper in there, or some of that foam or styrofoam, you know, you certainly could do that. But I haven't needed to. They seem to fit in there perfectly. I just kind of bended some of the stems so that they fit in there better. But you could use styrofoam if you wanted to really make sure that they weren't going to move around. Yeah, so there you have it. Your little teapot centerpiece. Now it just needs to be glued to the paper plate. And I did glue that to the paper plate with hot glue, which I have in another room because my craft room right here doesn't have a plug-in right close to my crafting table. So I've got the hot glue gun plugged in another room. So I will go do that. I'm going to glue this onto this paper plate, and then I will also glue these little leaves onto the plate. And I will be back to show you the results and show you how to make the little pumpkins. Okay, I'm back and I've got it all glued down. I glued everything with hot glue. I glued this little teapot and the little artificial leaves and also the little acorns. Put 2 acorns on each side because on these corners here are going to be our little pumpkins. So set this aside and we'll make our little pumpkins. What I use is the paper punch to punch out 6 little 2-inch circles. And if you don't have a paper punch, you could, of course, just draw a template for a 2-inch circle. Excuse me. And then just cut out 6 of these orange circles. 3, 4, 5, 6 for each pumpkin. Okay, so we have 6 circles that we're going to fold in half, but after we do that, first we're going to fold them in half, and then after we fold them in half, we're going to glue them together and then cut off one bottom edge to make it square so that they sit properly. I think I'll make this a little closer so you can see. So I'm just folding these little circles in half. And then we are going to glue one side to one side. And I'm going to use my glue stick for that. So, oops, glue this side this side, and we're going to glue the folded edge together. Whoops, sorry. So folded edge together. So we have this. And we're going to continue doing that with all 6 of them. Matching them up. Oops, sorry, I'm off camera. Hopefully you can see this all right. I moved it in closer and then I got off camera. Okay, so I'm just matching them up, gluing them together on one side. Okay, now we've got all 6 glued together. They're going to open on into a circle, but before we do that, we need to cut off the bottom so it will sit flat. Just going to take my scissors and just snip off the bottom. Like that. So the bottom's square. Then we are going to open them up. This is going to make our little pumpkin. But before we glue those last 2 edges together, we need to put our stem in there. And what I've chosen for a stem is this little piece of twig from my yard, but you could roll some paper. I guess I need to make a little shorter. I'm just going to hot glue that in there, right in the middle. And then I'm going to cut a piece of green ribbon and tie it around that stem. Now you could use curly ribbon and curl up. I don't have any, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to the hot glue gun and I'm going to glue my stem in there, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I glued my stem in, have my little green ribbon on there, and we have one little pumpkin. We need to make one more. So I will do that really quick. And then we will get these glued onto our plate. And our centerpiece will be finished. So I will get doing this and I'll be right back to show you the end result. Okay, I've got them all folded, and I thought I would stay with you and show you the process again for these little pumpkins, but because I think I was off camera before, and maybe some of you didn't see exactly what I was doing, but put glue here and then glue this folded circle on top of that, right on the fold line. And then I keep doing that. It's all 6 circles. Until they're all glued together. And just making sure that they all line up. And of course, if you wanted a little bigger pumpkin or a little fuller pumpkin, you could make your circles a little bigger, or could make a couple extra circles. But for my purpose for this, I feel 6 circles is enough. And the 2-inch seems to be a good size for the centerpiece. Just getting glue all over my fingers. Okay, so now we've got all 6 glued together right there at the fold. We're going to open it up and it's going to make our pumpkin. But before we glue these 2 together, I'm going to get my little stem, which is a twig, but you could roll up a piece of paper and stick it in there. And then I'm going to get my piece of ribbon. And I'm going to go to the glue gun and I'm going to glue those two together with my stem and my ribbon. And then I will be back. Actually, I'm going to glue the two pumpkins onto this plate then, and I will be back to show you the results. Oh yes, and I forgot. We need to cut off the bottom to make it flat. I thought better do that before I glue it together because we need a flat bottom for that pumpkin to stand. So that's what I did, cut off the bottom, and then I'm going to go in to the glue gun and glue this together. Okay, I'm back and we have a completed teapot centerpiece. I think it looks pretty nice. And it was pretty easy to do. I hope you were able to follow along on the video. I hope I explained it well enough that you would be able to put one together for yourself. If not, leave me some comments and I'll try to help you out with whatever questions you might have. I will put the link to my Etsy shop for you to go and download the template for the teapot and the little acorns. And I'll also put a supply list that you would need. I'll put that in the description box below. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day.